Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to part 2 of Trece de Mayo, our Mexican-style fermented hot sauce. And you are watching Need for Heat by Joven, Chasing Scoville. Here we do have our Trece de Mayo fermentation. It was supposed to take about 3 weeks. The fermentation looked good, but life happens, and between work and disc golf and getting some quality time with wifey, this is now about a 6-week fermentation. That's not a bad thing by any means. Sometimes the longer the fermentation, actually the better. But now comes the moment where the monkey jumps into the water, and we are going to open the fermentation, see what it smells like. If you look at the jar, it is looking healthy. No rots, it is completely clean. On the bottom is a little bit of white, that's the yeast that died off during the fermentation. There is nothing wrong with it. Let's do it. Oh, it smells delicious. Gosh, my nipples are getting so hard I could dial a phone with it. Smoky, but not overpowering from the anchos and the chipotles. You can smell a little sweetness of the carrots. You definitely get the onions, get this fresh chili aroma, and certainly get a good amount of spice from the ghost peppers that we put in. We are going to strain it. I do have a fermentation weight in here that I put in, so we can discard this. Righty, let's put it in here. We strain it. All of the goodness. Oh, it smells great. Alrighty, good. We're certainly going to use a good part of the fermentation liquid. Some of it is going to get blended into it, and some of it always put aside because it is active, it is alive, and you can use it as a great starter for any new fermentation you are beginning. It gives it a real jump start right from the beginning on. Now, what I do have here is my trusted Nutri blender, Nutri Bullet. It is small, but an absolute beast. Smaller fermentations I do in the Nutri Bullet, goes super quick, and larger fermentations I use a Vitamix for. I'm going to add a couple of spoons. Of our mix. God, it smells good. We don't overload. Going to add some of the fermentation liquid. It's full of microbiotic, which is actually good for your guts. Good. Let's puree it down. You probably will need to make a decision later on if you want to make it a pulpy hot sauce, as in you want to keep some particles a little rough, or if you want to strain it so as siphos and make it really fine, like Tabasco-like. But I think I'm going to go for this one for a touch of chunky, but just a touch. Let's blend it. I nearly forgot. What you want to make certain is when you blend hot sauce, fumes will come into the room. You need to make sure that your throat stays lubricated. Today, for lubrication, I thought a Von Trapp Helles will do us just right. Prost. So we pureed everything with our trusty Nutri Bullet. This is now our sauce. It is smooth, but it has a tiny part of chunkiness to it. And that's exactly what we wanted. We wanted it a little robust. We pureed everything down, and now the moment what it is all about, our first taste. Smell is great. It definitely comes with some heat. I'm getting the carrots. I'm getting a good amount of garlic. Certainly the smokiness that we talked about. The onions. Everything that went inside is really represented in the sauce. Success. Now, it does come with some heat if you are eating it straight. But it's a pleasant heat. What we are going to add though is, we are going to add a little vinegar. What I do before is we are going to taste the pH. I just bought one of those pH meters. They're like, so excuse me, $15, $20 on Amazon. And we see what our pH comes in. Because the whole idea of the fermentation is not just that the taste is becoming more pleasant and funky and more interesting, but as well that through the fermentation you make it shelf stable and you lower the pH. Usually I'm always happy if I come in at 4 or a little under 4. This makes it really shelf stable. Yeah, that's great. Great fermentation. We are coming in at 3.6. If you want to lower your pH, what you can do is you can add some vinegar. I don't need to lower my pH anymore, but for the taste of it, and I think a little bit more fruitiness, and to give this hot sauce characteristic style, I'm gonna add some apple cider vinegar. It is up to your taste how much. I like to add probably 1/3 of a cup. Just to give it a little more vinegar. If you buy vinegar, please make sure you buy a quality vinegar, whatever your taste is. Something I use apple cider vinegar and a touch of white wine vinegar. And we just puree it down a little more. Wonderful. We cleaned up a little bit and we've set everything up now for our bottling process. Please do not forget, it is your hot sauce and you can craft and style it as you want. There is more variations of hot sauces than there is possibilities of a Go game. The world of hot sauce is truly your oyster. Grab it by the bushy squirrel tail, really make it as you mean it. We're gonna add some regular paprika. I'm gonna do 2 spoons. I don't want to have that my flavoring really overshadows the chili taste and of the natural ingredients. It rather should add a little to it. A touch. can always add more later on. A cumin. Oh, I love cumin in hot sauces. That's a good amount. Our taco seasoning. Good. We give this a good stir. What I have prepared over here is my hot plate. What I do before bottling, even if the hot sauce is shelf stable, I always do heat it up, then transfer it into my bottles that are sterilized in hot boiling water for 10 minutes. Good. We now simmered our hot sauce for about 10-15 minutes, and anything that still potentially could be bad in there is now dead. I have here my bottles that I boiled in water again for about 10 minutes. I left some hot water in there just to keep them nice and warm. We are going to start our bottling process, and I can tell you already, because our hot sauce is a little bit on the thicker side. That's what I want. I want it on the thick side. It is going to be messy. It's going to be a real scheisse show getting it into these bottles. We have a towel. I've got my guide. I do not panic, and we should be just fine, hopefully. But it's going to be a mess, I can tell you this. Ooh. Oh, good fumes, good fumes. Let's put this aside. We bottle. I'm not greatly set up for success here, but yeah, I definitely would like this bottling process to be less messy. We start bottling. Usually you always find a system, and I found something that actually works pretty well. If you're ever in trouble, fellow Zwetschgenresters, a Zwetschgenrester, by the way, is in Austria, either a ripped up sweet plum compote or a good buddy. On this channel, we are all good buddies, just strangers that have not met yet. Right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. We cleaned up the scheisse show. Everything is bottled. Now we're going to make it look sexy. If you happen to enjoy this video, pointing out the obvious, like and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. The last trick up our sleeve is we are going to give it the little extra touch. We are going to put the shrink sleeve on it. You can buy those things, bottles, together with shrink sleeves on Amazon, or otherwise only shrink sleeves. Thank you, wifey, for letting me borrow the Dyson. You can use a dedicated heat gun. I just use a blow dryer. 13 de mayo. Huh? This one sounded good?